our new series of recordings called What's Normal. These look at what we expect in physical and emotional development for children between the ages of 2 and 11. For those of you who have not come across us before, I'm Sam. I'm the Clinical Director here at Standing in the Gap. Standing in the Gap is a small charity which started in 2017. We're what's called an early intervention mental health charity. This means we work with children and families before they hit crisis and while they are having wobbles and concerns. Our vision is that every child is emotionally healthy and able to flourish. We support preschool and primary age children and help them manage the big emotions such as fear, anxiety, anger and grief. Our mission is to build emotional wellbeing in children by providing tools and support to children and families. We're a small charity based in Oxfordshire and have been fortunate to get a grant from the Coronavirus Support Fund, which is distributed by the National Lottery, to enable us to make this resource. However, if you found this series useful, please do make us a donation to enable us to continue to make these resources. You can do this via our website using the donation button or text SITG and the amount to 70085. If you'd like to support us regularly, please look at our supporters page on the website for full details. Your support can really help make a difference to children and families. Prior to starting Standing in the Gap, I carried out some research in 3 schools in Banbury in Oxfordshire. This looked at parents' and teachers' views on support for children with mental health distress or difficulties. One of the really clear themes that came out from this research was that parents told us that they didn't really know what normal was. So they weren't sure if it was a problem, or what was a phase, or what was normal for that age. They also told us they wanted to know what were classed as the red flags or concerns, things that they shouldn't ignore, and when they should ask for help. Finally, they told us they didn't know where to go for help, so wanted all this information. We wanted to respond to those concerns and have some generic advice about how children develop, what factors influence all children's development, and what behaviour is a concern or what we class as a red flag. We also wanted to give some really clear information on where to get help. Following on from this, we will look at the children from the ages of 2 to 11 individually and see what's going on, looking at their physical and emotional development and what is normal for that specific age. And at the end of each, I have a section on what can help and actually help with their development. One of the things that parents often ask is, when should I ask for more help for my child? I'd recommend, if you see any of the following behaviours, you have a conversation with your child's school or your GP about getting your child assessed, as they will probably need some more support. If we pick things up early, they can be supported. Behavioural changes don't necessarily mean an underlying significant issue, but they're unlikely to go away on their own. So red flags or behaviours that are cause for concern include a change in behaviour. A normal, happy child becomes withdrawn, quiet, tearful, or you see changes in sleeping habits. A regression in behaviour, so losing a skill that they've already achieved or mastered. This could be they started wetting the bed, or being wet during the day, they're not sleeping, or they're showing less self-care activities than they were before. In school-age children, some of our concerns include appearing low or disinterested, a lack of interest in normal activities or withdrawing from activities they've previously enjoyed can be a concern. Expressing negative views about themselves constantly, not just the situational reaction of, oh, I'm such an idiot, I can't do your maths homework or don't understand things, but instead you're seeing regular negative views about themselves. Any expressions of not wanting to live or carry on living should be classed as a concern. A significant change in weight, either that's a gain or a loss, are a concern. Any obsessions around what they eat, where or how they need to keep clean, bringing in repetitive routines or very fixed routines can be a concern. Any self-destructive behaviours that aren't a one-off in temper, so things like headbanging, scratching themselves, pulling their hair or harming themselves physically, can be a concern. Also, anything as parents that worries you, that you're concerned about, that you need to have a conversation with a professional. So who do I go to for help? If your child is under 5, you can contact your health visitor. If they're at primary school, contact your school health nurse. Both can help support you in your child's development. Here at Standing in the Gap, we're in the process of applying for grants to be able to support more families one-to-one. So please do check out our website and see where we are at and what support we are able to offer. Please try not to Google concerns, as child mental health issues are complex and need to be properly assessed and managed. Also, on the other extreme, don't ignore it. If you're seeing some of the concerns mentioned above, please do ask for help. The earlier you get the help, the better it is for you and your child. We all want children to be able to be emotionally healthy and able to flourish. So how do children develop? Just before we go into the age-specific development, I want to look at a few key issues that impact all children. What we need to remember is children do develop at different rates to each other, so try not to compare. Not all 3-year-olds or all 8-year-olds behave the same. Factors other than development have an impact, as we'll look at in a moment. However, all children do go through development stages, and you learn the basic skills and then build on the more advanced skills. And generally these skills develop in the same order, as each skill builds on the next. So children develop primarily physically, emotionally and socially. A delay in one area can cause a delay in another area. So for example, if there's a delay in language skills, this often impacts the behaviour as the child struggles to communicate and have the big feelings that they're having. The environment a child is in has a huge impact on them. Are they getting age-appropriate stimulation with toys, books, interaction with others? Are their basic needs being met? Do they feel safe and loved? Are there any concerns about physical or emotional neglect? Or any significant conflicts within the house that's going on? As all of these have an impact on the environment the child is in and also on the development. It's a little bit like growing a plant. If you give it enough light, water and the right soil, it flourishes. If you don't, the plant's growth is stunted. Children are the same. They need a good environment to be able to flourish physically and emotionally. Birth order also affects, same as with environment, where the child fits within your family has an impact on their development. Are they the eldest and independent, wanting to be grown up? Or are they the youngest, the baby, the one who everybody helps and does things for? Often these family roles stick with us throughout life. Temperament also has an impact on how children respond and react to situations. If you've ever wondered why you can have two children that are so different, do watch our temperament video, available on the Understanding Your Child part of our website. And there's lots of tips there that can be really helpful in managing children slightly different due to their temperament traits. Another aspect is brain development. We know that by the age of 3, your child's brain is 90% of its adult size. However, there's so much to learn and so much development. We know that brain development can take between 25 to 30 years to grow a fully functioning adult brain. We know our brains grow significantly at 2 specific times. First 3 years and again during the teenage years. And during these times, the brain soaks up lots of information and makes millions of new brain connections. To help your child make sense of the world, it's really important to talk to them. Explain to them what's happening, what you're doing, and also what you want them to do. Please do see our resources on managing change in the Understanding Your Child section of the website. It's got a whole useful bit of information on explaining things and how you walk children through different stages. Secondly, let them know that they are loved and safe. Thirdly, give them a framework to help them understand and process things. Neurobiologists and cognitive psychologists tell us that between 40 and 95% of what we do is habit. So it's worth building in good routines with your child. This can include anything from cleaning their teeth, sitting at the table to eat, or reading books together before they go to bed. By building in patterns, it helps children place activities when initially they can't tell the time. Really important to say that the information in these videos is a guide. If you are concerned about your child's development, whether that's physical or emotional, it's really important you get somebody to review you in person. So in summary, for this first bit, what we've looked at is what behaviours are red flags and need further assessment and shouldn't be ignored. We've looked at where you can go and get help from. We've also looked at what factors affect all children's development. So we said that they're building blocks, one part to another. A delay in one area impacts another area. Environment has an impact, temperament has an impact, and brain development has an impact. We're now going to move on to look at the specific age and consider what's normal physical development, what's normal emotional development, and also what we can do to support development. So when we look at 2-year-olds, normal physical development for a 2-year-old is that they know their name and they know what they like and what they dislike. Their hand preference is normally quite obvious at this age. They'll have a hand that they use most. They can run, push and pull large toys. They can spoon feed themselves. Not always wanting to, but they can do it. They use around 50 words and are starting to make 2- and 3-word sentences. They can name familiar objects and parts of their body. Favourite words are often mine, no and me do it. They can follow simple instructions, such as get your shoes or put your hat on. They enjoy picture books and recognise details in books. During the second half of a 2-year-old, they start to recognise themselves in the mirror and in pictures. On average, they require about 13 hours of sleep in 24, and they'll often need a sleep during the day, but not necessarily every day. Between 2 and 3 years, for a lot of children, being dry in the day is easily achievable. If you'd like more information on potty training, do have a look at the NHS website or contact your health visitor for support. 2-year-olds work things out through play and repetition. If they try to touch an object and are told no by a parent, they often reenact this by going no or hot whenever they approach an object like a hot oven. When we look at emotional development, we know that 2-year-olds can be emotional beings. They want to do everything themselves, although they often can't. They have lots of big feelings. They can get very angry and have temper tantrums when they can't express themselves. They're very interested in other children, but are still learning how to play with them, meaning they play near them, but not normally with them. They don't know how to share yet, and this is a normal part of their development. And 2-year-olds often have a hard time waiting. They want everything now, right now. They enjoy the basic pretend play, pretending to cook or talk on a phone, and they're starting to get the idea about learning about routines, but generally really struggle to remember the rules. What we do find with 2-year-olds is they're frightened of noises like hoovers, vacuum cleaners, thunder or flushing toilets. They're also afraid of being separated from their main carer, and they can pick up on their parent or carer's fear of spiders, storms or things like that. Between 2 and 3, they go through a period where extremes are quite normal. They can be very dependent or very independent, and moods can vary from an hour-to-hour basis, from being very helpful or very stubborn, very aggressive or very passive. Consistency from their parent or carer gives them real help to start to understand and begin to regulate the process of their feelings. So what things can help with 2-year-olds and help with their development? Firstly, having clear routines during the day and explaining what they are and helping your child do them regularly. We get dressed, then we clean our teeth, then we do this, that and the other. Series of regular things. Rules need to be short and simple and completely consistent. No biting, no hitting, no wanton destroying are probably enough rules. Give your 2-year-old some simple choices. Do you want this or that for breakfast? Or which of these 2 tops would you want to wear? When your child's having a temper tantrum, stay calm and try and talk to them in a calming tone. If you can, ignore them till they calm down. Start to help your child label their feelings. When he's mad, sad, happy or silly, say to them, "You're really happy," or "You're really mad." Don't forget to tell them how much you love them and give them lots of regular hugs and kisses. You can use positive touch like a pizza massage. You'll see more around the pizza massage can be found on our Managing Stress video in the Understanding Your Child section of our website. Playing a game with a ball where you give directions to your child and your child follows it, such as roll the ball, pull the ball, bounce it, catch it. Take it in turns to give the directions. You can get an old shopping catalogue and use it as a good picture book for naming common objects. Where's the kettle? Where's the washing machine? All of these sort of things. Playing the big and little game is really quite fun. Talk through what is big, and what is little, showing different objects that are big and little. You can make a sound container from yoghurt pots, putting different things, beans, rice, lentils, pasta, that make different sounds. Encourage your child to match the sounds if you make 2 of each. Overall, try and enjoy your child as a 2-year-old. Don't keep saying, when you're bigger, when you can, as time goes really quickly. Enjoy them as they are, because they won't stay this little for long.